Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 2019 Product Certification and DOA workshop. It's good to see so many of you back here. And before we come and start with the workshop, I would invite Rachel Daeschler, the Certification Director, to do a welcome to all of you. Rachel.
Good morning, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure for me to welcome you today and tomorrow to what is actually already, I think, the 10th edition of the certification and design organization approval workshop organized by EASA. My name is Rachel Daeschler. I'm certification director at EASA. Our directorate is a team of currently 270 people in charge of product certification, design organization approval, and also of all the rulemaking activities related to initial airworthiness, meaning Part 21, Part 26, and all product-related certification specifications. This event has become more and more popular over the years, and today we are gathering around 400 attendees from industry and authorities. You are coming from about 38 different countries, many European countries, of course, but also coming from as far as Australia, Brazil, China, Japan, Malaysia, Qatar, Russia, Singapore, Turkey, Taiwan, United Arab Emirates, and the USA. I would like to thank you all very warmly for your participation today, for your continued interest, and also in advance for the lively discussions we will certainly have, either during the sessions or during the breaks. Since last year, we had quite a number of changes in the regulatory environment. Updates to Part 21 in particular have been introduced. We have a new basic regulation, which is the overall mandate for EASA to define our scope of competence. We live in a constantly changing environment, which makes it sometimes difficult to keep track. And this is also one reason for this type of event to be important. It's important for us to regularly organize communication exchanges with our stakeholders. It's also our duty to cooperate with you at every stage of the regulatory development, from initial new concepts to the drafting of new rules up to implementation. And at the stage of implementation, we are fully committed to support you in providing explanations and answering questions. But I would like to thank you also for all the time and energy industry and other stakeholders, NAAs, aviation authorities are putting in contributing to the development of the European aviation safety rule system. Thank you for that. I would like just to ask a small question to you. Who is participating for the first time to this event? So quite a number of people. Welcome to all the first-time participants. We have also quite a few new entrants in the aviation system, which makes it even more interesting for us to interact with you. So let me wish you a very fruitful workshop during these 2 days, and I will now hand over to Marcus again. Marcus is Deputy Certification Director and Head of the Design Organization Approval Department and the Master Organizer of this event. Thanks, Marcus.
Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, just a few words of introduction. And can I get the first slides, please? Overview of the agenda and some practical arrangements. Like in the past, this is really about discussing with you, exchanging views, and getting also your feedback, because that's quite important for us, as Rachel mentioned already. we cannot work in isolation. We had yesterday already so-called side meeting day with either technical topics or specific groups of interest, like airlines, STC group, or the topic continued awareness and competences. And I think we had around 150 people in total discussing among industry, but with the support of EASA, topics of interest for them. And you will see tomorrow in the debrief of these, the outcomes and the actions identified. And I think the feedback that we get is that these side meeting days are more and more useful for industry, because sharing experiences, even though you are competitors, you face the same difficulties. And to see how things can be addressed and how things can be or should be understood, I think that helps a lot. In terms of agenda, over the years we have roughly main blocks, call it that way. We have the rulemaking aspects, and Rachel mentioned already there were a lot of changes in the past since the last workshop. Update on international activities, and the agenda actually was triggered by a survey that we did with you, and the feedback was, and thanks to all of you, was really good. So we could, based on that, filter out the topics that you are really interested in. DOA-related topics, so the update on one side, but also specific topic on Brexit related to DOA. We have a few technical topics like additive manufacturing. Cybersecurity, you can say it's either rulemaking or something technical or a mixture between. Industry feedback sessions, as I said, from the side meetings, but we also have a slot from industry, the CCOM, one of the advisory bodies under the SAB, will provide a feedback tomorrow. And we have a presentation on innovation and how we, from our side, can support you and can interact with you on innovation concepts and projects. We have foreseen, when we set up the agenda, I think plenty of time for discussions either directly after the presentations or in the breaks. And we have at the very end a session for additional questions and answers, which we will try to address all the points that we cannot address directly due to time constraints when the presentations are there. Some practical arrangements. You all have a badge, and on the badge you have the access code to the wireless system and also to Slido. For Slido, you can ask your questions or you can vote for questions that others have asked and that were published. What we really like you to do is don't put anonymous as your name or something. Be fair enough that you really state who you are when you ask a question. If something comes with anonymous, we will just ignore it. And as I said, we will capture all these things with Slido, and if we cannot address all of them directly, we will still see which ones we can do tomorrow in the final session to answer them. And how to do that? Well, you just go to the address sli.do, you enter the code DOA 2019, and then you enter your details and you can ask questions or you can vote for questions. And we will make use of this voting to see which questions are the most popular ones, and we will focus mainly on that. There's also a chance to vote on Slido, even though I think we have no dedicated questions that we prepared for you to answer. All the workshop material will be made available on our website right after the workshop. So don't worry about that. I think that worked pretty well also in the last years. And in order to improve the way we organize things, the way we select topics, we need your feedback. And this year, you should receive the survey for the feedback right at the end of the workshop. So when you're traveling home, still with fresh memories, please look at the survey and respond to it. because we really need this feedback. Otherwise, we might organize things that you are not really interested in. So make use of that chance to provide your feedback to us. Good or bad, doesn't matter. We will take all the feedback and try to do the best out of it. And with that, I would like to start the subjects on the discussion. The first one is Michael Gerhardt and colleagues talking about Part 21, a new basic regulation. Okay, thanks.